will be different. By the way, guys, today the House Energy and Commerce Committee revealing troubling results from a review looking into hundreds of grants the Environmental Protection Agency handed out to foreign governments and organizations. The committee is demanding that the EPA produce more information on these obscure grants that have cost taxpayers, get ready for it, $100 million over the past decade. Dan, this is more outrage. The EPA is crushing American businesses and cutting checks to foreigners.
Well, let me start by bending over backwards. To be fair, if something is a legitimate federal responsibility, let's say that a military base has an environmental cleanup situation and the low-cost bidder that was qualified was a foreign firm, I have no problem with free trade and open, fair bidding for contracts. But what I strongly suspect is that these $100 million, and I'm sure it'll be a lot higher when it's all over and done with, that most of this money is just for pork barrel, grotesque, wasteful spending, the kind that makes Washington such a odious place to the American taxpayer.
Cheryl, I don't get it. I mean, we're suffering here. People need money. People need jobs. Yeah. How can we keep cutting checks to foreign governments, how do we do this? How do we keep doing it and get away with it?
We're doing it. 3 words, everybody. Breathe right, Jakarta. Are you kidding me? That's where we're spending American taxpayer money, to Jakarta. Did you see the money that we're spending for quote-unquote training in Jordan? What are they training them for? I mean, come on. If you look at the list, all the companies, it's countries, it's Colombia, and it could be seriously a big waste of money. But the EPA is going to come out. They're going to explain this. I'm anxious to see how they defend themselves.
I am too. Carl, how will they defend themselves?
Well, Dan said that he was bending over backwards. I'm not bending over backwards. I'm leaning forward on this one because I don't know how you're going to find anyone who could defend this. The EPA is dealing with domestic issues in the United States. There is no chance that we could justify spending money to give grants to foreign countries and agencies there to do studies to impact what we're doing here. And the most egregious example for our viewers, Charles, is that China, a Chinese state governmental agency, applied for an EPA grant for over $700,000, and I believe they got it. We should be applying to them to fund all of our EPA activities over here, and that would maybe cancel some of the debt, which will be a lot greater after August 2nd, going back to that other conversation. So clearly, this is outrage, and this is way beyond what I think the original charter was for EPA, and I don't support this, and anyone in the administration that can justify it would have to provide much stronger evidence than I've seen today.
So Dan, Carl Jeffers is the voice of reason here on this one. Really?
What do you mean on this one, on all of the issues,
it's
Charles?
How can we honestly find any kind of real good reason for this, Dan?
Well, I suspect we strongly can't find a reason, but I'm holding open the possibility that some of it was legitimate. But let's put it in the big picture. In the last 10 years, under the big spending policies of both Bush and Obama, we have doubled the size of the federal government. Does anybody think we're getting twice the value that we got 10 years ago? With so much money sloshing around Washington, you're bound to get more waste, more corruption, more fraud, and more stories exactly like this.
Last word, Carol.
Guys, one idea here is that, look, we're spending all this money, regulatory reform for coal companies, trying to clean up the environment in the United States. Many argue that if you don't clean up China, you don't clean up India, Vietnam, Jakarta, fine, that we're wasting our money here. That's probably going to be part of the EPA's defense.
Thanks to my freedom fighters, Cheryl Casoni, Carl Jeffers, and Dan Mitchell, keeping an eye on your personal and economic freedoms. I'm Charles Payne.